Bonjour et bienvenue sur Speak French. Avec moi, je suis Séverine, votre professeure de français. Hello and welcome to Speak French. Avec moi, I am Séverine and I am your French coach. Comment ça va aujourd'hui? How are you today? Moi, je vais bien, merci. I am fine, thank you. Today, we're going to make sentences together. By sentences, it's really to know what is the sequence that you should use when you make a sentence in French. For a lot of you, all right, so you know how to use some words here and there or, verbs, but how do you put it all together? How do you make a sentence that makes sense for French people, where you don't go through any frustration and you feel pretty confident that the person you're talking to will understand you? So in that episode, we're going to learn when you should put le, la, les, ou de, la, du, des after a verb. That's a real common question that I hear all the time during the class. So today, you're going to learn all about it. Of course, you'll find the transcript on the website speakfrenchavecmoi.com. And also, you have the Facebook page where you can find more content and more inspiration for your travel or when you come to France. All right, so why do French people say, I like the cheese, but they say, I want some cheese? It seems simple, but it's not that simple. In today's episode, I'll explain the rules that you should know, and you should absolutely know them and respect them. Because if you don't follow this structure, then your sentence is not balanced. Then even if the people really want to understand what you say, they won't understand it, and you're going to go through some frustration. So first, I'm going to explain the rules, then I'm going to give you some examples, then we're going to practice together. So before I start, why, right? As I said, French say, I like the cheese, or I adore the movies. In French, we use a lot more articles than in English, right? So basically, if you say, oh, I like dogs in English, in French, it would be, I like the dogs. I'm trying to explain something here. It is the first rule. When you express a like or a dislike in French, you will always use an definite article after it. What is a definite article? You will always use le, la, les, or L apostrophe. That's the first rule. Are you ready for more example? I'll be right back after this short break. Alors, as I said, first rule to know and to follow. When you express a like or a dislike in French, you always use le, la, les, or L apostrophe after the verb. It means when you will use a verb such as aimer, which means to like or to love. Adorer, meaning to love a lot. Or détester, it means to hate. You will always use le or la or les afterwards. Here are some examples. J'aime la ratatouille. I'm just sure a lot of you know ratatouille is a French dish. It's also a name of a Disney character, but here we're talking about the dish. J'aime la ratatouille. Ratatouille is a dish and it's also a noun and it's feminine singular. So the matching article is la. J'aime la ratatouille. Why I use la? Because aimer is a verb that indicates a like. J'aime la ratatouille. J'adore le champagne. And that's true. I really love champagne, okay? And, well, if you haven't had any good champagne, really try and you'll see why you will love it. Okay, anyway. J'adore le champagne. Why le champagne? Because champagne is a noun that is masculine singular and adore is a verb that you use to indicate that you love something. J'adore le champagne. I love champagne very much. Je déteste les escargots. Do you know what escargots are? Well, I'm just sure some of you know. And escargots are snails. And this sentence, je déteste, means I hate. Les escargots, snails. I hate snails. You hear here there is a le. Why? Because snails is plural. All right, so let's try to remember and to repeat. You've noticed I always use je for I because it's easy for remembering and talking. J'aime, j'adore, je déteste. J'aime, j'adore, je déteste. When you say j'aime, and when you say j'adore, and when you say je déteste, you will always use le, la, les ou l'apostrophe. Great, so now we know that. But for all other verbs, you're not going to say la, le, les. You're going to use de la, du, des. Such as, let's say that you want to say manger, to eat. Let's say that you want to say prendre, which means to take or to have when you talk about food. Or let's say that you want to use vouloir, to want. These verbs do not say anything about your like or dislikes. So when you use these verbs, you use a different set of articles. You're not going to use le, la, les. You will use de la, du, des. Such as, je prends de la ratatouille. Je prends de la ratatouille. I'm having or I have some ratatouille. Je veux du champagne. Je veux du champagne. I want some champagne. Je veux is I want. Du champagne. Why du? Because champagne is masculine. Je mange des escargots. I'm eating snails. Well, no, I am not, and I'm not now. You don't hear me eating, but let's pretend. Je mange des escargots. You notice here I'm using des and not les. Why? Because I am not stating a like or a dislike. Do you understand now how it works? So let's try together, and I'm going to have a few examples so you can guess with me. Avec moi. Alors, ensemble, together. How would you say in French, I like chocolate? Let's remember that the word chocolate in French is chocolat, and chocolat is masculine singular. You turn to guess. J'aime le chocolat. Le, because chocolat is masculine singular and aime is like. Great. How would you say I hate the rain? Rain in French is feminine. The word is pluie. It's hard to say. It's like play, but pluie. Try it. Je déteste la pluie. I hate the rain. Which actually I don't. I grew up in Normandy and it rains all the time, so I don't have anything against rain. Now, of course, we talked about food, but you can talk about other things you like. Books, music. How about you want to say, I really love science fiction movies? All right, so how would you say that? Let's think of the structure. I love very much is j'adore. Now, you heard that this was a plural, so you're going to put les after because it's a like. J'adore les, and then science fiction movies will be film de science-fiction. Film de science-fiction with a sion. Try. Great. J'adore les films de science-fiction. And that's a fact. I really like science fiction movies. J'adore les films de science-fiction. Why les? It's because science fiction movies is plural and you're using a like or dislike. Now, how would you translate? I want some chicken. Chicken in French is poulet, and it's a noun that is masculine. Remember what I told you. If it's not a verb such as aimer, adorer, ou détester, then you use du. Are you ready? So you'll say, je veux du poulet. Je veux is I want. Du because poulet is masculine. Je veux du poulet. Great. Now, how would you say, I'm having some fries or I'm taking some fries? Fries, in French, the word is frites, not frité. Frites. In French, you don't hear the plural. You've noticed it's going to be frites with S at the end. You don't pronounce the S. Remember, you're not going to use les because when you say I'm having or I'm taking, you're not stating a like. You're just saying what you want or what you're having. So, would you try to guess, knowing that the word that you're looking for is frites? And maybe from the previous lessons, you remember to say, I'm having. All right, your turn. Correct. This one was a hard one. It's je prends des frites. Why des? It's because frites is it's plural, and you are not stating a like or dislike. Je prends des frites. And now the last one. How would you say I'm eating some ice cream? I'm eating or I eat some ice cream. We don't make any difference in French between I'm eating and I eat. All right, so the verb you're looking for is mange. I used it before, so you know it's going to start with je mange. You also know that je mange is not a like or dislike. The word you're looking for, ice cream, it's glace, and it's feminine singular. Would you like to try? Okay, your turn. The answer is je mange de la glace. Je mange de la glace. All right. You made it to the end. So let's recap. After j'aime, j'adore, je déteste, you always use le, la, les ou l'apostrophe if it starts with a vowel. For all the other verbs, common verbs such as je prends, je veux, je mange, you use du, de la, des ou de l'apostrophe. You will find the whole transcript on the website, so you can go and you can practice. Next week, we're going to work on pronunciation. A lot of you have been asking me to do more pronunciation, more grammar, so you can see yourself progress. So here's your September challenge. Listen to all the episodes because at the end of the month, I will have a big quiz so you can try your progress. Again, thank you very much for being a great listener. Wherever you are in the world, keep learning, practicing. Don't give up. You'll get there because you are awesome. And as usual, I have a small favor to ask you. If you find the podcast very helpful, even helpful, please leave 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or any other platform that you use. So don't forget, next week, it's a pronunciation challenge, so I count on you. Merci, au revoir, à bientôt.